Call the roll.
Bird.
Here.
McGinn.
Here.
Stein.
Here.
Mormon.
Here.
Pippa.
Here.
Stecker. Here. Ray.
Here. Okay, number 2, approval of agenda.
Any changes, Your Honor?
No changes this evening.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Call the roll.
McGinn.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes.
Mormon.
Yes.
Pippa.
Yes.
Stecker. Yes. Ray.
Yes.
Bird.
Yes. Okay, number 3, presentation petitions, our communications A, 4 Oaks Family Connections.
Yeah, okay. Am I good, Raven?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for having me tonight. My name is Emily Easton. I'm here to talk about foster care. My husband Mike and I have been licensed foster parents for the last 7 years, so I come as like a personal experience, but also as a representative of 4 Oaks. Sometimes people ask us, why did you get into foster care? And I'll tell you what I tell our 4 biological kids is that we have enough love and enough space, and it's our responsibility to use those to bless other people instead of just being selfish with them, right? So that's why we're here and why we kind of got into it to start off with. I'm on staff with 4 Oaks Family Connections. DHS subcontracts all of the licensing as well as the training, the ongoing support, and the recruitment of foster families to 4 Oaks Family Connections. So I just want to let you know we have a huge need for more foster families. In Iowa in 2019, there were 1,729 children placed into the care at DHS. And those numbers are specifically children placed into foster care. So that doesn't include children that are placed into treatment centers or with relatives, suitable others, that sort of thing. We're talking about just foster care. So 1,729 children, and we only had 1,305 families. So that's pretty significant. If a child can't find a home in their local community, a few different things can happen. They either have to leave their community, which means not only are they leaving the home with their birth family and the trauma that comes along with that, but if they can't find a local home, then 4 Oaks has to expand their geographic perimeters and look outside of their community, and in that case, they're losing their community as well, their school system, their teacher, things like that. The Boone County numbers look a little bit better. Last year we had 18 families that were licensed foster families and 12 children that were placed into care. Now that sounds pretty good. It's like, okay, those numbers match up, right? But at 4 Oaks, we're not just trying to find a family, we're trying to find the right family. So of those families that were licensed, only one of them is legal. We're willing to take teenagers. So, and what if that family is on hold, or if they need a break, or if they already have a placement, right? So those numbers might look like they add up, but really they're not meeting the needs adequately of the children that are in care. And if a child can't find a placement at all, even if we start expanding those boundaries, we have children in shelters and things like that. And 4 Oaks just really believes that children thrive in a family the best, right? And so the more families we have, the more diversity of those families, the better. Especially if we have families that are willing to take sibling groups. We want, when we place a child in a foster home, we want to have a minimal amount of loss, right? So if they can be placed in their community, they don't lose their school. If they can be placed with their siblings, they're not losing the entire family, things like that. Let me talk a little bit about the licensing process. 4 Oaks Family Connections holds online orientation. That would be the first step to our process. We have them twice a week. You can go onto our website and go onto the training calendar, and anyone can just get more information about what fostering is. You can get your questions answered. It is the first step of the process, but it's like a no commitment kind of just information orientation section. From there, we certainly do background checks and all kinds of safety precautions because it's our job to make sure that those kids are in really safe quality homes. And part of that process includes a 10-week, 30-hour class that all of our applicants are required to take. And we cover things like how might you parent a child that has been coming out of a traumatic situation, right? There are some things that we need to learn about that, and how do we partner with birth families? We really encourage our foster families to make a connection and have a relationship with that birth family if that child knows that there's trust and communication, then they don't have to feel like they're playing their loyalties back and forth, right? If mom and dad are on the same team as foster parents, they don't have to feel like they can feel like they can be happy in both places without making others feel bad. So we really work on building those relationships as well in that 30-hour class. And then along with our training, we offer things like CPR first aid certified, and we also have home studies. So for Oaks Family Connections, we'll go into every home and do interviews and then look around the house for safety concerns and all those sort of things as well. So that's sort of the process that our foster parents go through to make sure that all of our homes are quality homes. How can the community help? So basically awareness is our #1 issue. We need every person to know about foster care and to ask the question, is this right for my family? A lot of families are going to say, no, this isn't the right fit. And we 100% agree that not every single family should be a foster family, right? But we do want to kind of put the ask out there in front of the public. So whether that means partnering with your local library or putting our information on your school Facebook page or your city Facebook page. We also do in-person orientation. So I do feel like the online ones are awesome because they're really convenient and they happen really frequently, and you can do it in your pajamas at home, right? But there is something about coming together and looking around and be like, these are the people in my community that are with me in this, right? I don't have to do this alone. So we do also really encourage setting up online orientation. We can have them at the library, or sometimes we do lunch and learns, right? If there's business members in the community and they will do something over lunchtime, information, things like that. So looking for opportunities to invite us into the community to get that word out is really helpful for us. Yeah, and also we set up information booths. So if you have a community event or something like that, we would love to be on it. Okay. What else? What are our biggest needs? Our biggest needs are for families that will take teenagers. We find that we do usually have a sufficient number of families that will take younger children, but we're looking for those families that can say, like, I can come alongside a team during those teen years and be there for those kids. We are also looking for, like I said, families that are willing to take sibling groups. Sometimes a family will only have their license will only allow for 1 or 2 children, in the home. So if there's a family that can take more than that, that's really beneficial. And we're looking for families that can provide support to our children that are racially and ethnically diverse, whether that means supporting them in that or being reflective of that themselves. Some of our children, some of our foster parents are amazing and they do such a good job meeting the needs of our kids. But we do have children that they kind of struggle until they get into a home that feels like home, right? And so having families that just have a lot of diversity is also really beneficial for us. So that's kind of a flyover. Do you guys have questions about foster care and what the need looks like?
Questions?
What's the easiest way to get a hold of you right now with COVID?
Yeah, so you can get a hold of me directly at easton@fouroaks.org. I do have some flyers that I'll leave here to you for some general questions about the licensing process, or that you could use to, send forward into the community, things like that. So I'm pretty available at this time. We are doing right now. All of our training is still in person, despite COVID and all of those sort of things. So thankfully, we haven't had too much, our numbers are continuing despite COVID, so we're really thankful for that. But you can reach me anytime.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Is there a place I can be?
Yeah. You want to give them that?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, B, set a public hearing for August 17th, 2020 at 6 p.m. to consider the sale of a portion of public right of way between 1514 Union and 1512 21 Carter Avenue.
Second.
Call the roll.
Stein,
Yes.
Mormon,
Yes.
Pickla,
Yes.
Sucker, yes, Gray,
Yes.
Bird,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Okay, number 4, report of standing committees, A, policy administration, B,
No report.
public safety, Stephen.
We had a request for directional signage right away. And the slower, do we have any issues with that? The police department? No sign. I'll make a motion to approve.
Call the roll.
Mormon,
Yes.
Pickla,
Yes.
Sucker, yes, Gray,
Yes.
Bird,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes. Okay, C, utilities committee. Stephen, we want to have a utility meeting on Wednesday at 12 to 4:30 p.m. Economic development committee, Greg.
Two things, Your Honor. One, we had that abatement discussion and request over at the Tri-West Development. We're still working on that, so there's nothing tonight. Probably on the 17th, we'll have more discussion on that for full council. And then the other thing is on the 17th, City Administrator Scare will be bringing more discussion and a final proposal for the ED position that we approved tonight before council for ED. I just got to say, staff has done a phenomenal job with that. That's a really comprehensive position, and I think we're going to get a lot of good quality candidates. That's it.
Thank you. Number 5, department reports, building official, that's the report, Your Honor. Finance officer, Andrea. City attorney, Jim.
No report.
Director of Public Works, John Rouse.
Yes, Your Honor, I got a couple things. Last week, we were visited by the traffic control for the railroad that is coming through to fix our railroad crossing in the whole line that's going through the community. They were discussing shutting down Marion Street crossing and Division Street crossing at the same time, because this apparatus that they use is like 2 blocks long, plus they have a chain behind. It's an enormous production. But we talked to them, Bill was in the meeting and stressed that we need Marion or Division open. You can't shut them both down at the same time. The traffic control guy agreed, he was going to take it to the railroad and pitch the idea. Haven't heard anything yet, so I think we're okay. They're supposed to start tomorrow with setting up and coming through town. So just an FYI.
How long is it closed?
It's probably going to be 2 work cycles, which is Tuesday to Tuesday, so probably 2 weeks. The first one will be open. Marion Street should be open up relatively quick. Then they'll shut down Division, Crawford, and Green and Story, and then just keep working west and east.
So the whole project will take 2 weeks, going through the community?
Yes. Okay. That's what they said. That's what the traffic control guy was. Bill, Dan, am I wrong with any of that?
Each phase is 2 weeks. It's 2 phases. So it's 2.
Okay, 2 and 2.
What's the start date again?
Tomorrow. We're supposed to start in tomorrow. So, as you know, we're working with railroad and sort of grass shoots, so just a heads up. A couple other things is our ice control, our salt for ice control is here, got delivered today. And then, what else? We poured the 8th and Green Street pads for the trash receptacles. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. City engineer, Dan.
Sure. You should start seeing some activity on the 11th Street project this week. This week will be milling and overlaying that eastern section, which is, and also includes Story Street. So hopefully by next week, we'll be able to open that up. We finally got just might really get the sidewalks and curbs better off with that. So that should really help move that project along. And then the plan is still to have the rest of it done before school starts. Any questions on that? We had our neighborhood meeting tonight for our next target area for our sewer I&I project. And again, we're focusing on getting the clean water out, because it's clean water doesn't need to be treated at our wastewater treatment plant. It overloads the sewer system and causes basement backups. And the DNR is telling us if we don't get it out, we have to install a $3 million equalization basin, which we don't want to do. Last year's project had great results. We got about a 30% reduction in that peak flow, which was tremendous. And I think we can achieve a similar target in this area. So it's a good project. We need to continue that along. Neighborhood meeting went well tonight. We have safety protocols in place that we believe we can do this safely and still get it done. So,
What's the length of time for this quadrant?
right, we want to do it from now through December.
Thank you. Public safety, Chief Adams.
No report.
Chief Weeble is not with us. Commander Slaughter, you have anything? No report. Okay. City Administrator Bell.
No hearing.
Number 6, consent agenda. Are there any items on here? There's nothing. I know some minutes. You'd like to go discuss separately. If not, need a motion to approve. Motion to approve. Call the roll.
Whitmer,
Yes.
Sucker? Yes. Ray?
Yes.
Bird?
Yes.
McGinn?
Yes.
Stein?
Yes.
Mormon?
Yes.
Okay, number 7, ordinances. First reading 2261. Ordinance to allow the city of Boone to modify the Human Services Committee tenure provision to provide for appeal process to any entity denied funding code section 28.03 and 28.07.
Second.
Call the roll.
Sucker? Yes. Ray?
Yes.
Bird?
Yes.
McGinn?
Yes.
Stein?
Yes.
Mormon?
Yes.
Whitmer?
Yes.
Okay, number 8, I have no comments. This evening, number 9, are any council comments?
Green space is coming along pretty well. We have about half a day left on the roof and it'll be done. A couple more days are wrapped. Once Steven puts the panels up there, we're about a day away. So it's close. It's real close.
Any other council comments?
I don't know if everybody's been following it, but there's been a group that's been cleaning up the disc golf course down in the coast, and they've gone quite a little ways on it. The Parks Department's done a great job helping them spread a lot of that mulch and things like that from those down trees, and so they've got most of the holes done, and they're just trying to see what they can do to bring that up when it started. But apparently, it's one of the best disc golf courses in the state. A lot of enthusiasm. Brandon Hurley, the guy that's been doing it. So.
There'll be a public comment, I believe.
Oh, go ahead.
Dave, did you want to speak?
I sure can. Thank you, Your Honor. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Boone, I'd like to thank Mayor Slight, City Manager Bill Scare, Public Works Director John Rouse, and all of his guys, Chief Weebolt and his officers, City Engineer Dan Scott, and Councilmember Greg Picklap, as well as every member of the Boone City Council for your help and support on the welcome train. We've had numerous people, including those who were actually involved in the move, as well as the Boone community members and visitors to our town, who have complimented the city of Boone for their professionalism, organization, and cooperation on this project. It was an honor to work alongside each of you. I'd also like to publicly thank Travis Stevenson with the Boone and Scenic Valley Railroad, Jake Elmquist and his guys with the Elmquist Towing, and the folks at Alliant Energy. Each organization contributed in many ways to help make this project possible. I'd also like to take a moment to address and apologize to the city and members of the community for the Trump flag that was hung on the back of the steam engine. This was not a political event, and Rotary is not a political organization. When I arrived the morning of the steam engine move, I found the steam engine was draped with 5 or 6 Trump flags. I immediately told the company moving the engine that they had to come down, and I was assured not once, not twice, but 3 times that that would happen. It wasn't until we made the turn onto Story from 11th Street that I got a call telling me that there was a flag on the back of the engine. When we stopped to clear the intersection at 11th and Story, while also dealing with the Union Pacific train that couldn't be stopped, JR and I spoke, and he reminded me that our only focus at that moment was to safely move the steam engine through Boone and nothing else. He was right, and that's exactly what we did. Since then, we have received an apology from one of those involved. And in the end, we're not going to let a flag define those who volunteered thousands of hours and to support a great service project for the Boone community, and one that we can all be proud of. And I just wish each member of the city of Boone and the city council could have heard how many people thanked us for the welcome train as it moved through town. And now that it sits at its new home at the entrance of Boone, we have just been overwhelmed by the positive response, and it couldn't have been done without the help and support of the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?